So we know that an element is an atom with a certain amount of protons. For example, carbon has 6 protons, and if we added another proton to that, it would become 7 protons, which is nitrogen. So elements depend on protons, and a bunch of elements together make all matter. Today we're just going to get a little more specific and define the types of combinations of different elements, and we're also going to remind ourselves how to use atoms to build molecules. So our first definition is a molecule. That means we have more than one atom. So that means I could take any piece of these elements and stick them together. I could take a hydrogen and 2 oxygens, and that's actually H2O, which is water. Or I could take an oxygen and an oxygen, which is O2, just oxygen gas. Let's write down those examples, because it's more than one atom, and so it's a molecule. Our first example, H2O. This 2 subscript means that we have 2 hydrogen atoms. And then we have 1 oxygen atom. Another example of a molecule could just be oxygen gas, O2. We know that we have 2 oxygen atoms. These are both O's. If you noticed, O2 has the same element, whereas if we add hydrogen, now we have 2 different elements. When we have 2 different elements, that's actually called a compound. Today, you guys are going to build atoms using our strategy from yesterday. Then you're going to combine those atoms to build a molecule. And then you're going to combine those molecules to combine matter that you might see in everyday life, like a banana. So, let's remind ourselves how to find the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons by looking at one of these periodic tables. Let's start with carbon. Again, 6 is the atomic number. That's the number of protons. That's like our jersey number. If Michael Jordan were an atom, he'd have a proton number of 23. That would be his atomic number. 12.01 is the atomic mass. That's all the big, heavy things. Electrons are teeny tiny. They don't count in the mass. Just the protons and the neutrons. So now I'm going to think about this when I draw. My pen is your pen, and you'll have to listen. Next to your square, we're going to draw our protons first. And I know I have 6 protons because that was our atomic number. You should have 6 protons that are very big. I also need to figure out my electrons. Well, if I have 6 protons, I know I need to balance that out with 6 electrons. These are teeny tiny, and they're flying around the outside of the atom, so they should be scattered around, and they actually take up the most volume. So scattered around, even all the way up here, I have 6 electrons, and they're all over our nucleus. Speaking of nucleus, I need to add our neutrons. How do I do that again? Well, I know my atomic mass is 12. That means I need 12 things inside my nucleus. Right now I only have 6 protons, and I need 12 things total, so I know I have to have 6 neutrons. So we're going to draw those in. go ahead and fit your neutrons into your nucleus. They're also big and heavy. They just don't have a charge because they're neutral. That means no charge. Finish up by drawing a dashed nucleus. And boom, you're done with your first atomic model. We're going to go through one more because in a few minutes you're going to have to do this on your own. The next one that we're going to do is oxygen. Go ahead and write down the periodic square for oxygen. First thing we start with is our Jersey number, or our atomic number, because it's so important. It calls the shots. We got a atomic number of 8, so we know we have to have 8 protons. So we gotta save some space for this. Go ahead and draw 8 protons. Eight protons. And if I have 8 protons, step 2 tells me I need to have 8 electrons. These are spread out because they're flying around, but we can't draw flying around, so we're just going to draw them spread out. But they're teeny tiny, so we want to draw them small. You should have drawn 8 electrons flying around your protons. And now we need our neutrons. This atomic mass tells us everything that needs to be inside of our nucleus, which we know is just our protons and our neutrons. So we have 16 if we round up. So if I have 8 protons, I know I need 8 neutrons, so that my mass, all the big heavy stuff, is going to be 16. So I'm going to draw 8 neutrons. And now I'm going to draw my nucleus, because that is what contains my protons and my neutrons. Good luck making your own versions of these atoms, and we're going to combine those atoms together to get a molecule, and then we're going to get those molecules together to build the matter that we use every day. Good luck.